Hey everybody, I'm Magic here and I'm here today with a Invoked Albaz Dogmatika deck profile post ban list, which is the kind of most important thing. Damn, this deck did kind of have to get changed a little bit in what I was playing and what I wasn't playing. But all in all, with what did get hit in the ban list and the new releases from Dimensional Force, or Dimension Force, whatever it is, yeah, it wasn't too bad of a hit. And this deck is still very much playable, and I'd still say very competitive. So let's kind of get straight into the video. Starting things off, we've got 3 Aluba, the Jester of Despia. So this is kind of one of your more focused normal summons, or you sound it off as special summoning it off of branded opening to kind of help you find your branded fusions. Has a really good grave effect. If your opponent kind of deals with your fusion monsters, you can then summon it and then negate a monster effect, so it has a good fusion effect that people forget about. We got 2 of Fallen the Albaz, really good card, you know, kind of what you kind of need to get this deck going. Really great normal summon effect, you know, it can be really good against some matchups. But yeah, it's pretty much a garnet in the hand because you have other normal summons though. You do want to kind of focus on having that in the deck for the branded fusions. Got 1, the Light Hex Sealed. Basically use this and Fallen the Albaz to kind of get into your Dragoon, get into other plays. When it's in the grave, you could substitute it to count as Albaz, or in the hand if you're in a kind of tight situation and you know it's in your hand. But yeah, really good card. And then finally, I've got for the kind of the branded package 1 Shadow Beast. I was and ahhing between going Shadow Beast and going to Shadow Dragon. Beast being a level 5 was kind of the reason why I wasn't leaning towards it. But the draw a card effect is really good. When you think this deck has a lot of discard outlets, when you think branded opening, when you think Lubellion, when you think super polymerization, there is a lot, even Fallen the Albaz. There are a lot of discards, so this card being able to kind of get me a bit of resources back is worth it. So that's entirely why. If it was a level 4, I'd be so much happier, but it's not, so you have to just prevail. 3 branded fusion, help you go into your Mirror Jade, your Albions, your Lubellions, hell, even in a tight situation to get game to Tantaclad. Yeah, really good card, searchable, off a lot of the cards in your deck. You can get it from the Albion as well at the end phase, or you can get some of the other cards being either branded opening, which is literally special summon your Aluba to help you get the branded fusion, and it also has a Balinx-like effect in the grave to protect your fusion monsters, which is a really good kind of bonus on top of that, a really good card. A lot of people are maxing out playing it free, but because I've not got too many good discard outlets and I'm not playing the Despia version, just a kind of branded Invoked Dogmatica version, I'm only playing the 2. And then 1 branded Banishment. This is such a broken card. The fact that you can use a Mirror Jade effect, super poly it away, using your opponent's stuff, they keep going, so you activate this, bring back out the Mirror Jade, and then you super poly them again, and you don't have to use the Mirror Jade, so now you have 2 pops or 2 non-targeting banishes because of the Mirror Jade and 2 super polys. It is so broken. It is such a broken card. I used it and I'm so happy with it. Going into the Invoke stuff, it's a very small engine of 3 Meltdown. Strictly because Meltdown protects your branded fusions or anything that's going to fusion summon, Albaz, you know, branded Banishment. Yeah, it kind of protects a lot of your stuff. And then also, when you summon out something like an Albion, your opponent can't respond, just flat out can't respond. So they can't then wait till you summon the Albion to drop the Allure of Darkness. Not Allure of Darkness, the Artifact Lancia. Sorry guys, I've just woken up. But yeah, they can't wait until you summon the Albion to then drop the Artifact Lancia. They have to do it when you activate Branded Fusion. But then you can play around the Artifact Lancia because you know now you're under Artifact Lancia. So really good. And then 2 Alistair the Invoker and 1 Invocation. This stuff, this is Ash bait, because hopefully you see this and a branded fusion. So the Meltdown hopefully baits out the Ash from the more less competent player, and then the Alistair will then kind of do the rest if, you know, because it's a matter of either you Ash me and stop me from making a Macabre, or I make them a Carver and I have a Monster Negate or an Omni Negate to stop the Ash Blossom, which is going to affect me. So that's kind of why, you know, this is here, obviously, to make the Orgides and the Macabre really, really good. But to be honest, it's there as a bait over anything else. One Terraforming as well, just to be able to search our Meltdowns, because Meltdown is kind of the key card in this, so that's why we only have the little engine, because we just mainly want the Meltdown. And then one Secret Villager Spellcasters. We play a lot of Spellcasters, being either Dragoon and Winder in our extra deck, to Dogmatica, Ecclesia, Fleur de Lis, anything like that. So we'll have a lot of Spellcasters on the board, so that's kind of why I've kind of turned around and went, you know what, let's put Secret Village in, because I'm going to lock you out of spells, and I'm going to have a lot of Spellcasters. And a lot of them are going to be hard to get rid of as well. Speaking of Dogmaticas though, so I've got the 2 Ecclesia to either special summon off the Nadir Servant, or to special summon off the Titaniclad when I send it to grave for something like a Mirror Jade. I've got the 1 Maximus to kind of load up my graveyard with stuff like the Mirror Jade, the Albion, the Titaniclad. I've got an Untis so I can pop. I've got an Omega to recycle. But I won't lose resources, but my opponent will lose resources, and that's kind of the key point. I've got the 1 Fleur de Lis, you know, the big boy, special summon and negate, non-targeting, negate a monster on the field, which is really good because it outs Dragoon as well. 2 Nadir Servant, load up your grave, get your searches ready for the end of the turn. Really, really good card, you know. And then 1 Punishment, just to kind of use in a last-ditch situation. To kind of, you can use it to pop 2 cards, you can send an Untis, you can send something to like search your stuff. But yeah, Punishment, really, really, really kind of essential card if you're in a bad situation. I've got 1, 2, 3 Ash Blossoms. Ash is kind of the best hand trap in the format right now, because you're most likely going to have to go against a form of branded build. So yeah, that's why. Yeah, Ash Blossom. Also because I want it to be in my deck ready for the Crossout Designators. I don't want to only have it in the hand. I want 1 to be in the hand, I want the rest to be in the deck, and I want my deck to be loaded for Crossout Designators. 2 Ghost Spell. It can deal with Brave. It's really good for a graveyard-reliant format, which is right now. A lot of stuff goes on in the grave, and it's just the grave version of Ash Blossom, so it's a really, really good card, very generic. And then 1, 2 Infinite Impermanences. Again, really generic, helps deal with a lot of stuff. That you want to keep it as generic as possible, but you definitely need the Ash Blossoms. Into just more generic spells though, I've got 2 Crossout Designator and 1 Call by the Grave. You do not want to get hand trapped, so that's there to kind of protect you in that situation. 1, 2, 3 Super Poly. Super Poly is broken in this format, you should be playing it. And then I've got 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, and then I've also got 1 Mystic Mine. So the Harpy's Feather Duster is because I haven't got any back row removal in the form of spells and traps. So if I get hit by a Mystic Mine, I don't actually have a way to win game 1. And seeing as Mystic Mine is kind of popping up a lot more in the format, I need to be cautious, because decks like Sky Striker, as a really good example, can play something like Mystic Mine. And they're going to start maxing out instead of just playing the 1. A lot of decks that are going to be more controlling and slower are going to play Mystic Mine. So because I have a lot of field spells and a lot of ways to search them, I can also just play my own 1 Mystic Mine, slow down the game until I find my Secret Villager Spellcasters, and then put a couple Spellcasters on, and I'm still locking them out. I can then just put a Magical Meltdown, just because, you know, now I'm going to get into my combo and I'm going to be aggressive. But yeah, there's a lot of things, and also the second reason is Harpy's Feather Duster is my only out. That's the problem. It's the only out to a Mystic Mine that I have, apart from obviously going first and having a couple negates, being like a Dragoon, a Mechaba, something like that. Without that, if they go first and they kind of just slap down a Mystic Mine and stop me from playing, Harpy's Feather Duster is the only thing. So at least what I can then also do is I can cross out Designator my Mystic Mine in deck. Hopefully, you know, 1 in 43 cards, it will be in the deck. So it just kind of gives me another way to kind of stay in the game and not lose to Mystic Mine and just like a very slow controlling strategy. And that's kind of why I'm playing the one-off. So it's a 43 card deck. You can, obviously, if you think, you know what, I'm not seeing as much Mystic Mine in my locals, take it out, make it a 42 card deck, that's absolutely fine. But yeah, for me, because I kind of feel like I'm going to see a lot of Mystic Mine, it's gone to 43. And this is totally why it's gone to 43. But let's get right into the extra deck. Starting off with the links, I've got one Artemis and one Dark. So, bye-bye Verte. That's also why you notice I don't have the DPE package in here. In all fairness, I didn't run it anyway because I kept bricking on Dasher and it just sucked. But yeah, Artemis to help you go into Mechaba. Dark, the Dark Charmer. A lot of the best decks right now playing Lights and Darks. I can spam out Lights and Darks. So there's kind of like no reason not to be playing it. I've got one Psyframe Gear Gamma. Psyframe Lord Omega, my bad. Strictly just because if I'm running something like Maximus, if I'm filling up my grave from the extra deck, I want to be able to recycle it. And that's pretty much it. That's the only reason why it's there. It's just because I don't want to lose advantage when I'm dumping stuff. And that's it. I've got, for the fusions, 2 Albion, 1 Lubellion, 1 Mirror Jade, 1 Titaniclad. So Albion helps you then fusion summon. So it's a Form the Albaz and a Light. Helps you fusion summon by banishing the materials. And yeah, so you kind of use Albion to help you go into something like a Dragoon. Lubellion, it's the opposite. So you discard, shuffle it back from the, I believe, Grave and Banished. It requires 1 Form the Albaz and a Dark. And it kind of helps you shuffle back your fusion. So a lot of the time you'll shuffle back, say, itself and the Shadow Beast to go into a Winder, itself and the Albaz to go into the Mirror Jade. It kind of helps you have consistency. The reason why you're playing 2 Albion as well, because it has a graveyard effect to search you a branded spell trap or set a branded spell trap. So you could set the branded opening, more likely you're going to search the branded fusion, or you're going to set the branded banishment to kind of super poly your opponent next turn. Mirror Jade being the boss monster, Form the Albaz plus anything that's summoned from the extra deck barring pendulums. Has a non-targeting banish, which is a really, really good removal. And then it sets up your grave with other cards as well. And then finally, as well, if it leaves the field and goes to the grave, you activate it, and then it will just nuke the board. So it's one of them, cool, now you've dealt with this problem monster, it's now going to nuke the board. So the only way to deal with it is like compulse it back. Then we've got 1 Invoked Macabre and 1 Invoked Orgides. Macabre being like your Omni Negate if you have the discard outlet. 9 times out of 10 it's going to be mainly used for a Monster Negate, and you'll have an Alistair in hand if you do the recycling properly. Orgides, just a 2800 arse, which is really, really good. And the best part is, well, the funniest part is, that if you summon it, and obviously you got Meltdown, you just, you know, pop something on their board and they can't respond, so you just have a free pop that they can't deal with. Speaking of pops, we got 1 Untis to kind of send off of either like a Mirror Jade, a Dogmatica Punishment to get extra pops, and a Dear Servant. So Untis really, really good, and of course all of these stuff, everything that I send on the grave for advantage can just get shuffled back with Omega. 1 Winder to kind of, you know, it's easy to send a Beast plus Albaz to make Lubellion, shuffle back Lubellion and the Beast to make Winder, lock your opponent out, and it's a spellcaster like I said earlier. Same with Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, you send the Hex Sealed Light and Albaz to make Albion, shuffle, then banish both of them to kind of go in Dragoon, so Hex being Dark Magician, Albaz being counting as a light, not a light, as a dragon effect monster, which is really, really good. And then my 2 super poly targets being Starving Venom, Fusion Dragon, and Predaplant Dragostapilia. The most generic and most especially generic in this format right now, super poly targets, really, really good, really strong. Mimic effect and gain attack, or being a monster negate, which is just really good. Good stats as well, being 2700 for the Dragostapilia, 2800 for the Starving Venom. But yeah, that's my extra deck, guys. I'm very, excited about this deck, what the potential is. I am going to try and see if I can get my hands on the new Abyssal Dragon, the Albaz Abyssal Dragon. It's quite expensive right now, and I've literally just moved property, so I can't really afford it at this moment, but I am going to be looking into it, seeing what I can get, if I can maybe trade with locals at at my local tournaments, see if I can get it that way. It is a really good card. I would maybe recommend trying it, testing it, see how it works in your deck specifically at your locals, because you never know. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Comment down below what you want to see in the next video. Make sure you subscribe, share the video, check out my new Instagram page that I've just put up, I Have Magic on Insta. Go check that out, and peace.